Hey there, Giant Opinion Sports. I don't normally make a lot of these preview videos because it kind of feels like, why make a preview video without a prediction? And I'm not a big prediction guy. I'm sorry, I don't have a crystal ball. But today, I'm going to make a prediction at the end of the video. And listen, every time I have said the Giants will win, they lose. Every time I said the Giants will lose, they win. So stick around to the end to see what I think and find out if the jinx holds true again. Which, I have done a lot of research, digging in, looking over the rosters, looking over stats, as many analytics as I could, and I got a pretty good idea of how this game would look. Well, in my head at least. I think it also helps that we had that game last year, with same coaching staff on each side. So, obviously, upgrade a quarterback, but let's get into it. And I want to talk about the Giants' offense first, and the video will probably be predominantly offense. I just feel like that's, at this point, the only way the Giants win games, or have a chance to win games, with their offense. So, and the Giants, they need to stick to the run game consistently. Listen, consistently. I don't want them to pound the rock, 3 straight times. I want more passing plays in this game, but don't go away from the run. Stick to it. Even if you're down a touchdown or 10 points at any point in this game, sprinkle in runs. Another thing, get away from the zone running. Barkley's not in there. I don't want to hear that excuse where we need to run the zone run scheme because of Barkley. Listen, get Jones under center. Run more of them schemes from last season we saw with Goldman. And listen, they got to sustain longer drives. You got to keep Stafford off the field. That's the only way you're going to have a chance to win this game. Another thing, take a few shot plays when you get around midfield, the opposing 40, 30. Take a few shots to the end zone. We know how awful, this Joe Judge / Jason Garrett scheme is in the red zone. Well, take a shot. Get a deep touchdown before you're even down in the red zone. And I'll make the case why the Giants need to get at least one deep touchdown today. So I like to pull a random stat out, and this might be a little long or maybe complicated. I'll try and talk slow and be thorough so you can understand. So the Rams defense has allowed 388 yards a game. The Giants offense has put up 380.6 yards per game. That's almost dead even. Now let's look at it the other way around. Giants defense has allowed 408 yards a game. The Rams offense has put up 408 yards per game. And it's pretty much the same way with the points scored and against as well. So if the averages stand up, this game, the Rams will win 20-20. So the reasoning for sustaining drives is the Giants are at a disadvantage here. Burning off clock and hitting a deep touchdown will turn this into a game. And I think the Giants could absolutely win this game. If you ask me, it's obviously going to be a tall order, with the injuries. But we saw Graham's defense give this Rams offense trouble last year. Outside of one blown play and Joe Judge refusing to take points when he was down there in the red zone and going for the 4th down, the Giants should have actually came out of that game with a win. So you could also throw out, hey, that was a Jared Goff Stafford's on this team now. True, but Stafford does throw up a few clunkers basically every season he's been in the NFL. And he's having an off game. This could really become a dogfight. This Giants team is going to be desperate at the moment. One little side note, I'm very interested to see where Jalen Ramsey will line up. I'd almost bet he follows Kadarius. And that matchup would be fun. We saw Kadarius get Trayvon Diggs a couple times in the last game. He is quick and twitchy. And it would just put a smile on my face if we can watch Kadarius just toast Ramsey a couple times. But one of the last things that I want to point out here for the Giants offense is the Rams have allowed a ton of short passes to get huge chunk yards. So I like to see a few screens. Just the corners are playing off. Just step back, rip a quick pass out, and listen, Shep can get yards after. Kadarius Toney quickly will become the best yak guy in the NFL, so let these receivers do some of the work. And Shep and Slayton will both play in this game. And with Galladay out, it'll be Slayton and John Ross on the outside. That's a lot of speed. And the Rams defense has allowed a ton of big plays in the passing game. If Jones starts, and I'm leaning towards he will, well, it seems that way. Everybody is. Listen, let Jones let it rip. Hopefully Andrew Thomas is back as well. So if Thomas is out, I severely point towards a loss. But he's in. We've seen Jones have big games already, especially the Washington game and the Saints game. So we know this offense can play well enough, pushing the ball down the field well enough to win a game. Now, the Giants defense, I do feel like they match up okay. Obviously, you'd like more pass rush here, but when the Giants corners are playing at the top of their game, they can compete with these Rams wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson has been killing it with the Rams. He's averaging like 30 yards per catch, which is, come on, that's ridiculous. But Adoree Jackson was brought in here to compete with wide receivers like Deshaun Jackson. And we've seen Adoree lock down Tyreek Hill in the past, and them speedy kinds of wide receivers. So Adoree, listen, this week, he's going to have to earn his money. James Bradberry will probably have the toughest task with Cooper Kupp, he's turned the corner. And this season, he's been a true stud #1 wide receiver. So just like Adoree, Bradberry has to earn his paycheck this week. Buckle up. We saw him clamp down Kupp last season, so I know he can do it. So Bradberry, he don't need to shut down Kupp, but limit his production and don't let him rip any big plays off on you. Just keep him underneath stuff. If you haven't been paying attention to the Rams this season, they've had to deal with a ton of injuries at the running back position. They get okay production from the running backs, but I think the defense will get a bit of a breather in the running department this week. So it's been rough the last couple of weeks with Alvin Kamara and the Cowboys. This doesn't mean that they can just take a nap out there. Don't sleep on them. The Rams will still try and run the ball, absolutely. And like I said, they are okay. I believe they're an average rushing team, even after the injuries. There's a couple great players on the Giants defense that have looked bad, unacceptable bad this year. I'm talking about James Bradberry and Dexter Lawrence. These two guys have looked like completely different players. Bradberry has allowed pretty much as many yards and touchdowns this season in 5 games as he did all last year, and that's not acceptable. Dexter Lawrence, he had a run defense grade last season in the 90s, elite type of shit. And this season, Dex has been graded in the 50s, like 55 run grade. It's not acceptable. It starts and ends with these guys. If we can get last year production out of both these dudes, we're going to have a chance. Overall, though, I don't know what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised, which team shows up. This defense was playing poor early last season as well, and they just turned it on and got hot and turned into a top 10 defense. I wouldn't bank on it. I only bring it up because we've seen it already once. At the moment, this team is so Jekyll and Hyde. I hate predictions, like I said earlier, but after scaling the stats and using my gut, I'll predict the Rams to win 30-28. All right, and here's why. If Jones and Thomas play, I expect a high-scoring game. I think the defense will be more of the same. I hate to say it. Obviously, they won't get gashed in a running game like they have the last couple of games, but I think just Matthew Stafford for the air. You're going to need Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and you're going to need Azeez to show up and get something out of somebody else in order to get pressure on Stafford to win this game. And I just haven't seen enough of that. I haven't seen really any of that so far this season. So why should I be confident that all of a sudden they'll put it together against this Rams team? So if the Rams have maybe if the Rams come in here and just have a sloppy start, a bunch of penalties on offense, that could help this defense get in a rhythm and get to where they need to be. Or Stafford has a classic letdown game. Like I said, he has a couple of them every year normally. Maybe. I think if these teams played 10 times, I think the Rams probably win 6-7 times out of 10. And, listen, it hurts for me to come on here and say that about my team. But, I just have to be honest about it. So, yeah, that's my preview and prediction. Unfortunately, I think the Giants, after this game, be 1-5. Wow. Anyways, that's it for me. Like, subscribe. Peace.